Last time on Mastering Minecraft, our hero expanded Project Pathway, crafting a peaceful garden and a scenic promenade to bring life to the landscape. With benches, pathways, and a view over the creek, the village grew even more enchanting. Along the way, we also got a server update with new farms and upgrades reshaping our world. But the adventure is far from over. What builds await and how will Project Pathway evolve in this week's episode? There's only one way to find out. Oh, and if you like the narration, please leave a like and subscribe.
Well, hello and welcome back dear kneecap community to this week's episode of Mastering Minecraft. How have you all been? I hope everyone's healthy and doing great. And about that intro, what do you think of it? Sometimes I get these ideas and in my mind I'm like, nah, you can't pull that off. You should, nah man, come on. And then I try it anyway and I'm always amazed by how well my own craziness turns out. But enough of that. Let's focus on today's episode. So, in today's episode, we are going to neglect the project pathway a bit. Despite what our narrator said, we'll be stepping back from it for the week to focus on some redstone optimizations. And we have to fix up our iron farm. So, if you're wondering why, it's because sometimes it's good to take a break from a creative project and let it rest for a bit. That way, when you return, you can look at it with fresh eyes and a broader perspective. Simple as that. So, let me get back to my back up to my platform again. Let me show you the checklist for today. First, I'll give you an overview of our gold farm and explain why it's inefficient at the moment. Then I'll walk you through how to analyze a redstone process as we examine each step of the gold farm. After that, we'll optimize the process and implement the changes. Once that's done, we'll test the new mechanics to see how it performs, and finally, we'll take a look at our torch, at our iron farm, and fix that up. With that said, I would have said, let's get starting. Alright, for those of you who've been watching the series from the beginning and are wondering where is this gold farm he's talking about, we've never been there. Well, you actually get a glimpse of it in the trailer episode. And if you're guessing where it might be, you are absolutely right. It's most likely up on the Nether roof. Here we are at the gold farm. This design is probably one you've seen in other Minecraft videos. I'm not sure who originally created it, so if you know, let me know in the comments so I can give them credit in the video description. And usually you'd see a huge, enormous chest monster beneath it. But at some point, I thought, why not automate the process? So now we have a mechanism that automatically converts all gold ingots into gold blocks and disposes the rotten flesh. So let me walk you through it. You can see there are like 9 platforms of magma blocks and a roof, which spawns piglins, and whysoever piglins are drawn to turtle eggs, which are placed in the middle of the farm, and the piglins trying to get it, and they fall down and die from the fall damage, and there are hoppers which collect the loot they drop, which is usually gold ingots and rotten flesh. So, I collect everything into this chest. And then comes the first mechanic. You can see there is an minecart with a hopper in it that waits here until it's fully loaded. As soon as it fully loaded, the mechanism sees that and triggers the minecart to start rolling into that end of the station. At this end of the station, the minecart gets emptied, and it empties everything it has, so rotten flesh and golden ingots, into this chest. And as soon as it is empty, it travels back to the other end of the station, and the whole process starts again. Meanwhile, everything that gets into this chest from the hopper minecart goes into that hopper and travels this hopper lane here. And in these chests, this is a small sorting system that we have at our storage as well, that is programmed that way that it only takes the gold ingots. And the rotten flesh are moving into that chest here, and from this chest here it gets into that hopper, and beneath that hopper is the annoying dispenser we heard, and he dispenses every rotten flesh into lava, and we got rid of one thing that we don't need. So what is happening here? You can see that all the 3 chests are showing into the middle hopper, and the middle hopper is showing into the crafter. So the crafter, if you walk towards it and watch it, it gets filled with golden ingots we farmed. And every time there are 9 ingots in here, it dispenses, or it sends out a signal strength of 9. So a composter that is filled to the top, like before converting the things into bone meal, sends a signal out of 8. So as soon there are 9 golden ingots here, the signal is stronger than 8, and it updates. You can see every time you see the number 9 here, there were 9 ingots here, and the redstone lane updates. So we have an observer here, he detects that and sends out a redstone pulse to the crafter, and the crafter dispenses the gold ingots into this hopper, and from this hopper it moves on to the next crafter, and at this side of the crafter we have the same thing. As soon as there are 9 ingots in here, he will dispense, or he will produce a block of gold. So that's the magic in here. What we're doing is basically we're not detecting it with the composter, which is a bad thing. I should have done the same thing here. So what we're doing here is, as soon as there is 9 gold ingots in the crafter, this will have a signal strength of 9, and when it reaches the repeater sends a pulse to the crafter, and the crafter creates a gold block. And that's basically it. Now you know what we have and what we need to analyze. So let's move to the analysis. Okay, so into the analysis. Let's count all the steps we have. We now know we have something that collects the items. We have a transfer phase with the minecart that collects the items, brings it back to the sorting system. The sorting system splits the 2 items into disposals and craftables, then crafts the nuggets into ingots and the ingots into blocks. And if we look at that, the first thing that comes to mind is, why do we have to transport the items to the sorting system? This is a step that is basically unnecessary. We don't need that. We don't have to transport the stuff into here, because we could just build the sorting thing underneath the farm and do everything that we do here right under the farm. So we can get rid of 1, 2, 3 steps of the whole process. We don't need them. So that's one thing we can optimize. Get rid of the transporting thing. Then we have 3 nugget chests where gold nuggets get stored. We never will need 3 nuggets chests. We can get rid of the storing here and could basically move the production system of the gold blocks right into the sorting lane. So we don't need to store the things first. We can actually just move right into the production thing, which gets rid of another step of the whole process. So we got rid of 1, 2, the whole thing, 3, 4 steps that we are taking right now that makes the farm inefficient. The next thing is the composter stuff. That's not a beautiful way to, go around with redstone. Basically, what we could do is minimize the redstone lanes exposed. And for that, we could, for example, turn the observer that it sends and pulls upwards and put another observer here that triggers a piston which has a redstone block on it, a sticky piston with a redstone block on it, and every time it detects the update in the redstone lane, this observer will trigger a basic piston. The second observer would notice, hey, there was a change because the piston got triggered, and this triggers the sticky piston with the redstone block, and the redstone block would then trigger the autocrafter. And we could do that thing twice. We don't have to do 2 separate things. We can do this same thing twice because it's the exact same process. I know the analysis now was fast, but that is because I sat here and I analyzed this for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes before I did the video. So take your time when you analyze your redstone. Think of things that you can move that are unnecessary, that slow the whole process down. Like we did with the rail stations and we did with the storing system. So now we need to think of a way how to build this. This took me another 2 hours to build it. So let me build it real quick and show you how we implement the things that we've just witnessed. Oh, and here we are back with the implemented system, and as you can see, we have a lot smaller system right now, and it does pretty much the same. And as I told you, first things first, we don't need a transportation system. We have built the sorting system right underneath the platform where the piglings die. You can see every hopper is showing into 1, and this hopper sends the items here into that hopper chain, and beneath that hopper chain you can see there are not 3 chests underneath it. No, the sorting system takes all the gold nuggets. We have locked this hopper so it can only process gold nuggets, and the rest just continues into this chest, and the chest does pretty much the same thing as before. It collects the rotten flesh and dispenses it into lava. The only thing we've done is we have optimized the dispensing system. It dispenses it a lot faster now, and sometimes, as you can see, it gets stuck. I don't know why that is. So if I put the item in here, it resets. I don't know why that is. I have to figure that out, but for now it's okay. So, and the rest of the nuggets are dropped into this hopper, and they go down into this hopper here, and this hopper directs it forward until it reaches the crafter. And as you can see, we have the 8 signal strength coming from the composter. As soon as the crafter reaches 9, observer detects it. It triggers the piston, which the observer notices and triggers the sticky piston with the redstone block on it, which triggers the crafter. And from here, the hopper collects the gold nugget. Not the gold, sorry, the gold ingot. Gold ingot, gold nugget, gold. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the gold ingot, and puts it into the next crafter. And here it is the same system. And after that, we get gold blocks. And I would have said this is optimization done right. Well, not completely right, because this here where the observer keeps triggering, this is something that is not really optimal, but it doesn't happen all the time, so I think we can neglect it. And if he triggers all the time, it's not bad, because the only thing that's happened is that the dispenser is being triggered the whole time, and everything still functions. And with that said, let's test this whole thing. I am on the AFK platform, and when we go down, we actually see a lot of piglins dying. So you see there's a lot of items which are being processed right now. So what we have to see is if everything works fine. So we just assume that rotten flesh is getting dispensed, and so now we have 1 golden block. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one triggers. So everything seems to work. Let's go. So what we haven't seen right now is that there wasn't flesh, that rotten flesh that dispensed. So let me just check real quick if something blocked, but it shouldn't. Maybe we're just lucky, and we got only nuggets, gold nuggets. Yeah, so nothing blocked. This is fine. This seems to work. Do we have... now. Okay, perfectly. Everything works. Let's go. And with that said, I don't know where this feather comes from, but that said, we finished our job for today. And I think we skipped the iron farm because, we run out of time, and iron farm can wait. We had a lot of technical stuff today that we've done and have to process and digest. So let me wrap up this episode. Well, okay, we have optimized an inefficient farm today. We have implemented the changes. We have tested everything. And you guys know now how to step by step analyze and farm and see if you can optimize it. I want to thank you guys if you watched until this point. I know it's an unusual outro. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It would help me a lot. And with that said, always remember, a kneecap a day keeps the stress away. Thank you guys. It's been your kneecap. See you guys next week. Bye bye.